through all the various rounds, you'll know that there was a big accident at the Westwood event involving Gary Goodfellow, one of our top riders all season long. He's currently leading the Pro 750 production point standings. And Gary, it's got to be awfully agonizing to be injured here at Shannonville to watch that points lead that you have right now probably go by the window here today as guys like Walter and Douglas and all the other guys go after your points total.
Yeah, that's right, Pat. There's not too much I can do about it at this point except get back into shape and come back next year fighting. I've had a good series. It's just a real unfortunate thing that happened at Westwood. And I'm just happy that my teammate Michelle's out there riding my bike, and I'm sure that he's going to do the same job as what I've been doing on it in the last few races here in Canada.
Well, Gary, I know all the racing fans are looking forward to seeing you back racing here in Canada next year. All the best.
Thanks very much, Pat.
Motorsport Park for this, our final television broadcast of the season.
And this is our 7th race for the Canadian Superbike Championship. But before we get to that race, we have another championship to be decided.
That's Michelle Mercier, who has the pole position for the Denise Pro 750 production race. It's up to one of these riders to grab enough points to overtake Gary Goodfellow's championship points lead. The riders off the start into turn 1. It's Michelle Mercier, number 1, putting that Suzuki out in front here on the opening lap. Number 87, Murphy on the Kawasaki, was right there with him as the riders break at the end of the straightaway going into turn number 2. But it's Mercier already opening up about 3 or 4 bike lengths. Mercier, who began road racing on these very production bikes and from there moved on to his feats in superbike racing, doing an outstanding job here on the opening lap.
Pat, for a guy that hasn't ridden a production bike this year, I know he's riding Goodfellow's machine, but boy, is he ever putting a job together here right off the bat.
Mercier out of the hairpin, stretching it out here on the back straightaway as the rest of the field tries to chase him down. Murphy, 87, on the Kawasaki, having a real battle in there with number 7, Jean Paquette, who's running third. There is Michelle Mercier heading into the chicane now for the first time and looking very smooth out there on the machine. And there, the rear wheel lifted as he got on the brakes very hard. Going into Allen's corner, there's Murphy retaking that second place position after Paquette had got around for just a few moments. Murphy in second, 7, Paquette up into the third place spot. And in fourth is Lusby, number 13, on the Kawasaki. He's having a good run on the 750 Kawasaki. There is Paquette again, right on the rear wheel of Murphy as they break off the end of the straightaway and back into turn 2. That's a tremendous 4-rider race for the second place spot. And at this point, it is all Michelle Mercier. 66. That is Pierre Marquette. It looks like he will have to park his Kawasaki, and Murphy has blown the engine. Lusby off in a cloud of dust. There's a second and a third rider down. Yes, there is Lusby running over to his machine. He appears to be okay. There were 2 other riders that went down. There is Jean Paquette. It looks as though he is favoring his left wrist, so he evidently has damaged the wrist in the crash. And you saw Crevier running over to his machine, so we've had 4 riders crash.
Well, Pat, the organizers have red flagged this race as there's a lot of oil laid down on the line by Murphy's Kawasaki. And here's another look from a different angle of the incident. You can see that Lusby, Paquette, and Crevier had no chance to avoid the oil, and there's the result.
That's Lusby's Kawasaki flying through the air, doing a complete 360, and I think the bike is going to be totaled. Here's Norm Murphy with his reaction.
Well, the race we were just running there, the Pro 750 production, I have been doing really well in that. I could win the championship if I was able to stay out right now, but they won't let me restart. On the second lap there, I was in second place behind Michelle, and I think I blew a connecting rod, put a lot of oil down the track, and 3 guys fell because of it. And now, I don't know who it's up to now to win the championship. I'll have to sit back and watch now.
Pat Murphy now becomes part of this sellout crowd at Shannonville as we're ready to restart in single file this Pro 750 production race.
Again, Mercier will lead it through turn 1. Craig, you know now with Crevier not able to start along with Murphy, Tommy Douglas is the only rider in the field who has a shot at taking the championship away from Gary Goodfellow. So Gary still has a chance at winning it here this afternoon if Douglas does not finish up, I believe, in the top 5. So Tommy Douglas is going to try to run near the front as Mercier, number 1, leads it out of turn 4. And again, as in the original start, he's beginning to stretch out quite a lead here on this opening lap. Michelle Mercier, number 1, flying out in front. The battle is on for the second place spot involving number 97, Richard Greff, the rookie, number 101, Steve Dick. Then comes rider number 185, Tommy Douglas.
Well, as you said, Pat, what we should be looking for now is whether or not Tommy Douglas can come fifth or better. And if he does, he'll pick up enough points to beat Gary Goodfellow, who has 45. Douglas has 40. Really, this should be an outstanding achievement for the Laval, Quebec rider, and you know it would be due mainly to consistency rather than wins this year.
Changing that second place position, Steve Dick has moved around Richard Greff to put his Allied Honda machine into the number 2 spot. Greff, the rookie, doing a great job here, holding on to third. And then it's 185 Douglas back in fourth, and you can be sure his crew is going to be giving him the pit boards to let him know exactly where he's running on the racetrack as he runs it up out of turn number 1. Rider back in the 5th place spot is 115 Richard Jago, who actually was the mechanic, the tuner on Lusby's Kawasaki machine earlier this year. He's decided to go back production racing.
Well, we're looking at racing right now, Pat. You know, this has become very, very popular with both the dealers, the fans, and the manufacturers, because these bikes can be bought right out of the dealer's showroom. This is true production racing.
While some of these bikes put out over 100 horsepower off the dealer's showroom, the riders will put a little better quality tire on them, some other safety changes, but other than that, you're looking at box stock, street legal machines running here on the racetrack. This is a great run between the local rider from Belleville, Brian McClooney, another rookie, number 601, and 199, John Ramsey from Nova Scotia, as they have a race going on for the 7th place position. There is your leader, Michel Mercier, number 1, and boy, has he done a job here on this Suzuki production machine. But again, this was where Michel Mercier began racing on this track and on the production bikes, and he's gone back to his roots here this afternoon. 101 Steve Dick in second, and now the race for third between 97 Richard Greff on the Honda and 185 Tommy Douglas, with a championship on the line here today at Shannonville, running back in the 4th place position. Douglas can afford to ride a little bit conservatively right now. You can see he's not pushing it that hard, trying to be very, very smooth through the chicane, but still within striking distance of that 3rd place position.
Well, that's the game Tommy's played all year, Pat, and he's very, very good at it. Mr. Consistency himself, and he's proven it out here today.
I'm not sure if he's going to take a run at Greff here with the last lap flag out. We've got less than a lap to go, and in fact, Greff and Douglas not all that far behind Steve Dick, number 101. Tommy Douglas on the back straightaway for the final time. He's got less than a lap to go, and if he can hold on to that 4th place position, the championship will be his. But here is the rider who's dominated the proceedings here this afternoon, and again, you could see Mercier, although he's got a commanding lead, almost threw it away into that corner. Here's the checkered flag out at the line. Michel Mercier will win it. A fine ride for Mercier as he waves to the crowd. Here is Tommy Douglas. He will finish in 4th, just behind 97 Richard Greff, and he will win the championship.
That must be a great feeling for Douglas as he takes his first championship in only his 2nd year of pro riding. A good ride for Steve Dick, but he was no match for Mercier, and great to see rookies Greff and McClooney showing so well. And we'll be back with the Superbike.
Castrol Motorplan National Superbike Championship from Shannonville, Ontario. I'm Pat Gonzalez, and with me is Craig Hill.
The riders and teams are lining up at the start-finish line for this 12-lap feature, the Rothman's Challenge. And that's Kathleen Colburn.
And there's the man on the pole position, Ruben McMurder, number 24. He'll ride the Yamaha Motor Canada 750. Michel Mercier, having already clinched the championship, will be up on his team Suzuki 750. Art Robbins, a big crowd favorite here at Shannonville, back on the Rothman's Honda 750. Tom Walter, number 993 from Surrey, BC. He'll be riding Mercier's backup Suzuki after having problems on his Honda. Tommy Douglas, 185 from Laval, Quebec, has been the surprise of the series this year. He rides the Yamaha. And Steve Dick, number 101 from Burnaby, British Columbia, he'll be on a Honda Interceptor 750. Riders preparing across that front line. There is Mercier, McMurder, 24. Up on the outside, Walter. A big crowd here at Shannonville, and the field away. Mercier got the big front wheel in the air, and it'll be 24 McMurder leading it through turn 1. Michel Mercier got that front wheel in the air. He had to back out of the throttle, and it was 24 McMurder grabbing the early lead. Mercier in the 2nd place spot as they go up through turns 2 and 3. The 3rd place rider is 185 Tommy Douglas. As Douglas gets off to a good start, Art Robbins, number 47, back there in the 4th place spot. 24 McMurder through turn 4, but again, Mercier is right there on his rear tire looking for an opening. Mercier up on the outside of McMurder, but could not get around. 185 Douglas still holding on to third, and 47 Robbins back in the fourth place spot. Art Robbins, who's missed the last couple of events with mechanical problems, getting through in a third. A lovely pass there by Robbins. There is Mercier up on the outside of McMurder through the S's, but again, McMurder will hold him off. Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda battle here in the early going, and Douglas trying to chase the front-running three riders down. It's Lusby, number 13, back in the fifth place spot. There is McMurder, your leader, off the end of the back straightaway, followed by Mercier on the number 1 machine, then Robbins 47 as they break into Allen's corner. It's Robbins, number 47 on the inside. Robbins will take over second place, and he's got the capacity crowd on their feet here at Shannonville. McMurder 24 back to the line. There's Paul McMillan, who started right in the back on the other Rothman's Honda machine. He's worked his way up through half the field. McMurder, your leader, 47. Robbins in second, and here's Mercier, number 1, closing on Robbins. He'll take over second place.
I saw a little puff of smoke from Robbins Honda, but it could be anything at this point. Earlier, I talked to leader Ruben McMurder about his plans.
My plan today is to try to win the race. If I get the cash for money, there is a shot at the first place cash for money. So if it goes my way, great. That's the reward for working hard, I think. If it ends up second or third, then fine. But I'm going for the win. I want to prove that I'm still one of the fastest guys, or the fastest guy in Canada. And I'm going to give it my best shot.
So far here today, it's been McMurder, the fastest man on the racetrack, but here's Michel Mercier sitting up at the end of the straightaway. Mercier will take the lead, and again, that's Suzuki showing a little bit more horsepower along the back straightaway at Shannonville. Mercier was able to work the draft. Here's a good battle further back in the pack. 87, Norm Murphy on the Team Tide machine, running with Paul McMillan, number 9.
And there's the standings, and the one prize that most of these riders are shooting for today is the $20,000 Castro Contingency Award. Right now, it's Tommy Douglas who's in the driver's seat to collect the check at the end of this race. Art Robbins and Ruben McMurder can only wish for Tommy to retire or fall off. McMillan and Murphy also have a chance at the money, but I think they're too far back right now, Pat, to pose any threat at all.
There is your leader, Craig, Michel Mercier, staying about 10, 12 bike lengths ahead of 24, Ruben McMurder. And now the race for third, involving 47, Art Robbins, and number 185, Tommy Douglas.
Well, look at that. Art Robbins keeps looking back at Douglas, almost daring him to pass. Pat, what do you suppose is on Art's mind right now?
Well, I think Art is trying to get Tommy to pick up the pace and perhaps push it beyond what he wants to run here this afternoon. There's the battle back with Lusby, number 13, and McMillan, number 9. I don't think Douglas is going to push it that hard. He is going to ride a calculated, conservative race here because he knows that fourth place position is all that he needs to put his name on that $20,000 check.
Well, the crowd here today is just happy to see Art back on the racetrack, Pat, and he's doing not bad a job for a bike that hasn't completed 2 of the last races.
Well, that Honda's running pretty well here today, but I still think Art is a little bit down on horsepower. Further back, the battle involving 71 Kathleen Coburn, 115 Richard Jago, 88 Kyle Andrews, and then Tony Sharpless. And they're just ahead of 993 Tom Walther on Mercier's backup Suzuki. I don't think Tom is quite that comfortable on the machine.
That cat-and-mouse game continues with Robbins and Douglas, and I asked Tommy earlier if this season had been better than he could have expected.
Yeah, it surpassed my expectations quite a bit. I was hoping to finish in the top 3 in both my classes, and those were my goals. But I didn't really expect to be up for this Castrol money. There are other people who deserve it. I know who've been in the sport a long time and have been working really hard. But I feel that my consistency has finally paid off, and that's what I'm hoping to stay with over the years.
We'll be back with the concluding laps right after this. Stages of round 7 of the Castro Motoplan National Superbike Championship race for the Canadian number 1 place.
And that prestigious award was wrapped up by Shannonville's Michel Mercier at our last event. Michel amassed a total of 76 points, and his nearest rival, Tommy Douglas, cannot catch him even if he wins this final race, Pat.
Our congratulations, Craig, go to Michel Mercier and the entire Team Suzuki racing effort that's just been outstanding all season long.
And in the closing laps, the Western riders are starting to put heat on Robbins and Douglas right now, Pat.
Frank, we've got a tremendous 4-rider battle going on for that 3rd place position right now. There is Robbins leading it into the S's. 185 Douglas is right there, 101. Steve Dick and 73, Steve Crevier, have come up here now to challenge Robbins and Douglas for third and fourth place. So perhaps that cat and mouse game they had going earlier did cost them some time on the clock, and that has moved Dick and Crevier up into a challenging position. Off the end of the straightaway into turn 11, it is 101. Steve Dick moving around into that fourth place position. Steve Dick has taken over the fourth place spot as Tommy Douglas now drops back to fifth, and there is 73 Crevier in the sixth place position.
And Douglas has got to be kind of careful here, Pat, because if he makes a mistake, he could blow away all that big Castro money.
Well, if Tommy rides the way he has all season long, he's going to keep it on the racetrack and right now try to hold off fellow Yamaha rider 73, Steve Crevier, for that fifth place spot. It is 47, Art Robbins leading it off the end of the straightaway through turn 2, then Dick number 101.
And there's the man who hasn't put a wheel wrong all day, winning the 750 production race, leading now and the new Canadian Superbike champion. I asked Mercier if it was all too easy.
No, it was even harder this year. It's, you know, nothing was easy. We had a great team, I can say. You know, George Moran was looking after the whole thing. Mike Crumlin was doing a perfect mechanic. I never had any breakdown, and I did my job too. You know, I made sure I didn't fall and always consistent and push when I had to push and just be conservative when I had to. Everything worked out fine, and, you know, I think everybody did a professional job. Suzuki helped a lot. You know, all my sponsorship, I won't name all of them because, you know, there's a lot of them. And, you know, I just hope everybody's happy with the year, and I hope to do it again next year.
That race for third place, less than a lap to go off the end of the back straightaway. Robbins holding off. 101, Steve Dick for that third place spot. Then it's Douglas 185 and Crevier. Here is your leader, Michel Mercier. Just one corner to go, and what a way to finish up the season with the championship and a final win here at Shannonville. Mercier takes the checkered flag for the win. McMurder takes second, and here's the battle for third. Out of the final turn, Robbins number 47 will hold off Steve Dick. It'll be 185, Douglas in fifth, and Crevier in sixth.
And just a great afternoon of racing for a great Canadian athlete, Michel Mercier, winning his third national superbike race of 7. McMurder came a strong second, and Art Robbins held on for third place, with Tommy Douglas picking up the $20,000 Castrol Award. Here's Pat with the presentation.
Number 1 plate holder for 1988, the Canadian Superbike champion, the flying French-Canadian Michel Mercier. On behalf of Castrol Canada, we thank you all for being part of the 1987 Castrol National Championships and look forward to seeing you back as the series moves on in 1988.